Welcome back. This is Trasected, and I do my keyboard videos on this channel. And welcome back if you have been following for a long time. Okay, if you're new, this is me. I build keyboards on this channel at least. Maybe I'll do other stuff soon. Anyway, today's build or rebuild is the thermal, and I am rebuilding them with a force break mod. The force break mod was popularized because of a pinging keyboard, and the thermal really got pingy at the start, especially. Like, there's tons of ping. Maybe it was a switch as well, but yeah. So, I'm taking out the Raeds from this. I was using GMK dots, which didn't make it very fun. I mean, I could type blank. I was happy typing blank for quite some time. But I think now that I've got so many more legends on my keycaps, I don't see the need to type blank anymore. They sound nice though. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, these GMK dots do sound nice. They fit in very well, the Raeds. And the Raeds had, I guess because of the Raeds material and how it was made, I guess it made the board ping less. It sounded okay. It was doable. You know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway. I usually do have like a organization method, so I'm actually trying to keep my keycaps properly, and not make a mess. I will also keep my switches properly, and I use this clear container thing that you can store food in. People usually get it to store takeaway food, but I use it to keep my switches in. There you go. My switches are inside, and these are the ones that are still very fresh. So I actually try to keep them separate so that I would have a clearer indication of which ones were used and which ones weren't already used. So yeah, this is me putting them to a little bag so that the super stock ones are still I still kept separate, so that when I do loop and film the ones that are already worn in, it gets smoother a lot faster, and then I get less confused. So there's something about the thermal plate which I am worried about, because it's leaf spring, so I have to really handle it carefully. I know it's bending a little bit already, like there is some sort of flex when I try to yank the switches out, and just from the use of the keyboard it's bending in little ways. It's not that it's badly made, okay, it's just how it's made, meaning the leaf spring just has that happen, and some of the switches get really stuck into this thing. Like, you can see me putting some effort. I actually left some of them in because I just couldn't yank it out. I was too afraid of breaking something. I've broken switches before trying to yank them out, and I even thought loosening the spacers would help. Yeah, didn't really help. I just waited, flipped them around the other side, tried to take them out from the other angle. They did come out eventually. If not, you wouldn't have this video. There we go, so they're coming out. My steps here are the C3 equal steps. I left them on still, they're fine. I think they're really okay. One of my favorite steps. Yeah, would honestly recommend anyone to get the C3 equal steps. They work out really well. And this is me now bringing out the Hyperglides. So today I decided to use Hyperglides. I have to note down what the black switches are. I have so many black switches at this point. I've got like the J-Wick blacks, which you've seen before. I've got my Hyperglides, which I left on for what, a year or two? a year I think, on one of my other keyboards, and I desoldered them. So I'm actually trying to choose some of the switches that I have not used. It means they're fresh. It's easier to tell the fresh switch, the super stock switch, when I have soldered switches already. Like, if it's soldered already, I can see the solder marks, right, on the underside with the pins. But if it's just a hot swap board, I can't tell sometimes. So anyway, I could tell for this one. I was trying to switch in those that are fresh so that they'll get some use in. Hyperglides are really fun. They sound really nice. Material very similar to your Raeds, and of course, Cherry Top Out is just a different sound on its own. And very much like the Nixies, which I have shown in other videos, or in recent video. It works out. It really makes a very nice muted sound, padded sound. I don't know how you call it. Yeah. So at this point, I'm trying on the force break mode, which means sticking little bits of like tape on the edges that connect to the board, means nearest to the screw holes. It's different from like trying to tape up the whole bottom of the board where all the switches sound the same. This is really trying to isolate the parts that are closest to the screw holes. I thought it would be the same as taping, but it sounds completely different. Like, the pinging really is tapered off in a huge way, and my switches sound like my switches. Like, they don't sound completely different. It's really trying to mute the board, because obviously the board is compressed together really tight by the screws, and that really tight metal sound effect, I mean, it makes logical sense lah. So I'm quite okay with it. It makes sense. I enjoyed the whole process of doing the force break mod, and I thought it was good. So I actually tried to do a smaller piece nearer to the edges, but it kind of twisted away when I screwed the screw on, basically. Oh, I'm not using any special tape, by the way. This is just plain old washi tape. I draw and paint a bunch, right? So yeah, it's just empty tape if you need a reference. I got thin empty tape, but I still trimmed it down. I actually used the tape to tape my daughter cable down within the thermal itself, because the daughter board there, as you can see, the wire kind of hangs out, and when it hangs out, it doesn't sit properly when you, even though there's a recess, it doesn't sit properly when I lay the board in. Yeah, so I taped the top of the board as well, because that's basically where it joins in, and I taped the bottom. Yeah, there you go, you can see all the different parts that I taped down. And then I screw in the hex screws, the Tox screws. I usually do it across in that zigzag manner so that it stays kind of firm throughout. When deciding what keycaps to use for the thermal, I kind of always think that thinner, lighter keycaps will sound nice, meaning ABS types, which is your GMK keycaps. But this time around, I tried the ePBT Cool Kits. I mean, it is PBT, which is usually made to do thicker plastics. I mean, it could be done thin, but in this case, it's slightly thicker than a GMK keycap set. And I thought it was pretty nice. It sounded actually really good. Later on, you'll get to hear a little bit of the sound test. I mean, definitely you hear the sound test. What am I talking about? What keyboard video doesn't have a sound test? Anyway, yeah, the accents are so funny. Like, they're really fun puns on it. Like, have fun, right? I mean, how cute is that? It works pretty well with the Soya colorway of the thermal. ePBT is quite white, but not bleached white, not super stark white. And Soya colorway is kind of cream, a lot more neutral cream than Cool Kits, but it works well together. You see this nice mix coming together. It's just slightly off, which helps it stand out a bit more. Okay, there you hear that a little bit. I will have a little pressing thingy at the end, where you can hear how the keycaps sound when, how the switches sound. Yeah, sound nice, huh? I think, at least, I hope it does sound nice. To me, it sounded pretty nice. Okay, keeping away my stuff like a decent human being, a decent adult trying to keep his keycaps in order. I really have so many keycaps at this point. Yeah, especially when all the different, GMK sets deliver. Yeah, okay, sound test is coming up real soon. Thanks for sticking around and watching. Hope you guys like this format again of me talking through my keyboard rebuild. Yeah, maybe I'll put in some music at the start. It's hard to choose music, that's the only thing. But yeah, it's pretty okay. I enjoy filming it this way. It makes it more interesting. And now we're ready for the sound test. Yeah. I couldn't actually find my old pen, so this is what we gotta do with this. So I really like the sound of this to the point where I just went for another like typing test. Here we go. Alright, see you guys. Bye.